Hi, my Braemar TB90N cycles on and off after running for about 5 minutes, then stops altogether. I've paid to have someone come and fix the problem twice, and they have not solved the problem.
Welcome. I will do my best to assist you with an answer. I offer training and step-by-step coaching beyond that. I need the following information in order to begin a diagnosis. Age of the unit. Tell me what the previous 2 technicians told you and/or replaced in the furnace. Tell me if the air filter is clean. Tell me what you have to do in order to get the heater to start again. When it cycles on and off, tell me how many times, and how many seconds it takes. Do you have skills in reading wiring diagrams and using a multimeter? Please take a photo of the wiring diagram glued to the back side of the service panel cover and use the paper clip icon in this dialog box above to attach it here. Or post the picture to a photo sharing website, then post its URL address here. We can go from there. The more detailed you are with your answers, the faster we can get to the bottom of what the problem is.
Hi Phil, I sent a detailed reply but the site crashed, so here we go again. Age, 10 years. Tech 1, he cleaned and serviced the unit 2 years ago, and said it seemed to be running fine and left. Tech 2, serviced the unit and installed a new thermostat/controller inside the house. It is far more basic than the old one, just on off and adjust the target temperature setting. It displays the indoor temp. Again, he said it seemed to be fine but the heater was still not working properly. We went overseas for 6 months, so didn't use it last winter. Filter is clean and I thoroughly cleaned the intake duct on the weekend. Wasn't too bad, thin film of dust. To get the heater to work again we wait, sometimes an hour or more, then turn it on and cross our fingers. When I turned it on this morning, here's what happened. 1. It started fine and ran for about 5 to 10 minutes, then cycled off. 2. It restarted straight away. Exhaust fan turns on, 20 seconds later the burner ignited, then 30 seconds later the fan started. But the fan started at about the same time as the burner and exhaust fan turned off. The fan ran for a minute or so, then turned off. 3. As soon as the fan turned, the exhaust fan started, then 20 seconds later the burner ignited, ran for about 20 seconds, and then they both switched off. The fan did not start this time. 4. Then the exhaust fan turned on again, burner ignited, and then they both switched off again. 5. I turned it off, because after it cycles on and off a few times it stops responding for quite a while. I have a multimeter and should be able to take some readings if you tell what you need. Unable to attach wiring diagram photo. When I click on the paperclip it asks for a URL. We'll keep trying.
Thanks. The problem is a flame sensing failure. There can be several causes. Most commonly a dirty flame sensor rod. Use plumber's sand cloth to polish it. You can find it by following the sense wire from the Honeywell ignition system. It's a long stainless steel rod protruding from a white ceramic insulator. If that fails and you have a multimeter with a microamp setting on it, UA, we can check for 2 to 4 microamperes between the end of the wire that attaches to Honeywell ignition system and where it was connected before you removed it to do the UA test. If there is 2 to 4 microamperes, then the ignition card is bad. If it does not read 2 to 4 microamperes, then there is a bad ground connection at the burner or somewhere else in the system. We can take this one step at a time. We can go from there. Okay, looks to me like both the spark and sense wires are blue. They both attach to the back of a white ceramic insulator, which I can clearly see, but I can't see the other side. See photo, and looks like I've got to remove some parts to gain access to the flame sensor rod to identify and clean. What is plumber sandcloth? I don't have any. Can I use anything else like fine-grained sandpaper? If not, I'll go to the hardware store to see if I can get some. Okay, I figures it out. Could feel the rod, removed it and photo attached, doesn't look too bad, but is a bit brown. I'll go to the hardware to get some plumber sandcloth and clean it. Should I try turning on the unit again after it is cleaned? Hello again, that is it. Clean it off with emery paper, along with its push-on type wire connections. Regular sandpaper has resin on it, that messes up the flame rod. The hardware store will have emery cloth or plumber sandcloth in a small roll they can sell you, or you can use steel wool sometimes. Stay in touch. I will be in for another 2 or 3 hours tonight, then back 8 hours later in the morning. Phil.
Okay, Phil, I'm heading to the hardware store, then I've got to head into work. I'll be home in 6 or 7 hours to sand the rod and connections and put it back in place. We'll give you an update on how it goes with a nice clean flame rod, so you'll see my update in your morning. I'm in Canberra, Australia, and I'm guessing our time zones are a bit different. Cheers, Jim.
Have a good day at work, Jim. I will see you in the morning. If cleaning the flame rod fails, you will need a good multimeter with a microamp scale on it, as mentioned earlier. Phil.
Well, the flame rod is sparkling clean and back in place, but the symptoms remain. My multimeter dial goes down to 200 microamps and has a 1 decimal place reading. Will that be sufficient? Let me know what readings you need and I'll get on it in the morning. Cheers, Jim.
Hello again. We will be looking for 2 to 4 microamps DC. UA. If we do not have that current flow in the wire from the flame sensor rod to the Honeywell ignition control card, we need to remove the 2 grounding contacts shown, one of them to terminal 12 on the ignition card, and clean those up. There has to be a good ground in order for the flame sensor and ignition card to work, and a current flow of 2 to 4 microamperes DC. If we have good microamp readings, next step will be to put a jumper wire on the over temperature automatic reset cutout switch shown the right side of the wiring diagram. Do not leave the unit unattended with that switch jumpered. If the jumper solves the problem, replace the switch. If the jumper does not change anything, then the problem is most likely in one of the printed circuit cards. We can go from there.
Hi Phil, I just took readings and got between 4.7 and 5 microamps from the controller output to the wire plug. I can try jumpering the over temperature automatic reset cutout switch. How do I do this? Are you asking me to short circuit the cutout switch so it can't break the circuit? What should I use to do this? Jim.
Hello again. Thanks for doing the UA test. Jump the cutout switch by first turning the power off to the furnace, then removing both wires from the switch and use electrical tape to tie them firmly together. Or if the wires are under screw heats, just put one of the wires under the other wire's screw heat. Or you can buy a jumper test cable from an electronics supply store with alligator clips on it and use that. Be sure that you do not leave the jumper in place unattended. Just leave it in place long enough to prove the switch is bad. Fill.
Okay, just to be sure, photo of switch attached. It's the white thing with the two black connectors and brown wires, right? Should those black connectors slide off the switch? I pulled pretty hard and they seem fixed. Or should I pull the brown wire out of the black connector?
Hello again, it looks like you have the right switch. The black connector should pull off of the switch. Don't use too much force though. The wires do not pull out of the black pieces, those are crimped in. When in doubt, you can always scrape large bare spots on each wire, then tape the wires together. Fill.
Okay, the black connectors came off, they were just stuck on pretty tight. I connected them together with a brown wire I found in my electrical box in the shed, photo attached. I turned on the unit, it cycled off after about 20 seconds. The exhaust fan started, 15 seconds later the burner ignited, then 15 seconds later they both switch. Then the main fan started and ran for about 2 minutes and turned off. I left it on just to see what happened next. The exhaust fan started, the burner ignited, then they turned off, the main fan didn't turn on this time. I've seen it all before. What's next?
Hello again. Your test shows that the switch is good. Next most likely problem is that there is a defect in one of the printed circuit cards that shows up when it is energized and warms up. Use a hairdryer to warm each card up slowly and gently. One at a time, to 120 F or so. Warm but not hot to the touch. If anything changes for the better or worse, the card is bad. Start with the Honeywell ignition card. We can go from there.
We are talking about the black and red box, right? Photo attached. I can remove it by taking out one screw. So you want me to open it and use a hairdryer to warm up each one in turn, switch on the unit and see if it runs any better or worse. I think we are getting close because the unit runs for the longest period of time when it is cold, runs for about 5 minutes. It cycles off in shorter periods of time thereafter. I reconnected the clips to the sensor.
Hello again. Yes, open the black and red box cover. You should see the printed circuit cards inside. Be sure to warm them only one at a time, so we know which one is bad. You may have to shield the one you are not warming with paper and tape, etc. Fill. I open the black and red box, see photo. There is just the one large circuit card inside, with a small blue one attached at right angles. I heated it up for a few minutes with the hairdryer and then quickly switched on the unit. This time the exhaust fan started, but the burner did not ignite before the exhaust fan switched off. I could hear the igniter trying to light the flame. Where to from here? I'm just heading out for a bit. We'll be back in an hour and check to see if there are any more tests you want me to do. Cheers, Jim. Hello again. It is most likely the small blue card that controls the gas valve that is defective. But the way it is laid out, it is hard to tell exactly. Replacing both cards has a 95% plus chance of resolving the problem. Fill.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit justanswer.com/ythi.